one place for fair and balanced coverage. Fox News Channel.
What's wrong with working hard to make our lives and our kids' lives better? Nothing. At Fox Business, we don't have a problem with success. We have a very big problem with those who get in the way of it. We don't come out of the box bashing those who make money, just the politicians stealing it and the bureaucracies wasting it. We're not just sitting behind a desk. We're out in the field, on the floor, with the folks. Because when a story moves forward, so do we.
Fox Business, the power to prosper. Check your local listings.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Ooh, a xylophone. Sounds dreamy.
Yeah, they don't make them like this anymore, Robin. I'm shipping it to the Musical Historical Society.
And you're packing it like that?
What, this won't work?
Why don't you take it to the Personal Service Center at the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street in Ocala? Just look for the yellow signs.
Great idea. That'll save me a lot of time.
The passing of time.
Personal Service Center makes sending packages easy.
And quick, call 789-6683.
For the Personal Service Center.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking: will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 a.m.
All right, 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, guys. So there's some rain coming our way. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Weather Channel map in motion, whatever they call it, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't look that bad. It looks like we're going to probably see a passing thunderstorm sometime between now and noon. And they're saying between 10 and noon. So
okay.
So anyway, just thought I'd point that out. Galen Unold is on the phone from LifeSouth Community Blood Center. His role in this is not only to entertain and to educate, but also to educate and entertain about the blood supply, of course, from LifeSouth. Good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Larry, Robin. How are y'all?
Good. That was a bad way to introduce you, wasn't it? He educates and entertains.
Okay.
Well,
and
he does.
He entertains and educates.
That's right, he does.
There you go. Hey, I'll take that every time.
Where are you today?
I just got on the 75, so big something. They're doing something with the train track, so I'm a little late. But, yeah, I'm on 75, entering the tree zone here in about 5 minutes.
And you were in Atlanta yesterday?
I was in Georgia.
Georgia, okay.
The last 2 days I was in Atlanta, and then I went all over the state of Georgia in the last 2 days.
Wow, okay. So before we do have a topic, and of course we want to ask you about the blood supply, but what was your comment on the affordable health care?
Well, it's two things that I really think people need to understand, that with the term affordable means 33% of your income. All right. That's a glossed over subject. It's very difficult to find. But it's 33% of your income is considered affordable. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, the people who created the Affordable Health Care Act were from two categories, pharmaceuticals and insurance companies, because they are the two of the largest lobbyist groups in Washington, D.C. So the issue you're talking about with the insurance companies and the issues you're talking about with the pharmaceutical companies are the issues they didn't tackle with the Affordable Health Care Act. The Affordable Health Care Act went after hospitals and doctors, but it didn't touch the pharmaceutical company. It didn't touch the insurance company. And the insurance companies are kind of making out during all of this time, because the hospitals, basically what's happening is the insurance companies can now squeeze the hospitals and say, you're going to get the maximum amount out of you, and we're going to pay you the least amount. But the insurance company and the pharmaceuticals didn't have to give anything. And that's the next piece that has to happen in order for this to survive. So.
Well, good point. I hate when I agree. It's so much more fun to argue, but.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it's but you're dead on. I mean, the people who need this insurance and go to healthcare.gov, and they don't qualify for a subsidy. We all know that insurance and health costs can be crippling. 1 out of 6 people in this country are financially ruined because of a health incident, whether that's, when somebody's at their end of their life and how much that costs and all of those other things.
Right.
So financial ruin is there for 1 out of 6 people in this country because of their health care costs.
Yeah, it is crazy.
We have to do something, but you can't let the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies dictate whatever that is. We need real leadership to come in, and that's going to take a lot of guts, because whether we like it or not, those two groups put a boatload of money into getting people elected.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But why can't we do something without it being mandated? That's my complaint, the whole thing. I mean, we could have done something without it being mandated.
You in theory, yes, but the problem is I guess it's not a problem. What they were trying to do is get everybody on it, because part of the problem that insurance companies face and hospitals face is the uninsured person, right? It's somebody who walks into the doctor's office because they were they had a heart attack and they didn't have any insurance, and now these hospitals have to treat them by mandate. There is a mandate that hospitals cannot turn them away. So if that's the case, these people don't have insurance, they don't have any method of payment, and so they instantly filed bankruptcy, and they said, you know what, I can't pay you anything. And so this hospital, that it may have cost them, $100,000 to get them well again, is out $100,000.
Yeah. Well,
and that's the issue.
Just to point out something, when we were trying to understand this 4 years ago, or whenever this conversation first started,
sure.
I was so trying to understand the logic, and I think I grasped it. And if there were no greedy people out there, then it would work. But the truth is, there are greedy people, and maybe you've named them by saying pharmaceuticals and insurance companies. But if there were no greedy, that's the perfect world. So where we all chip in, and there's no greedy people wanting a big piece of it. Then it makes sense. And I was trying to be fair to all of our guests, and got ridiculed for it, by the way, for not playing hardball with some of the pro-Affordable Care Act guests. But hey, I didn't want them to be talked over by me. I wanted them to explain what it was.
Right.
Because I really wanted to know. I didn't want to be a target of propaganda in any way, pro or for it or against it. And the way it was spelled out relied on honesty. It relied on integrity. It relied on people not being greedy. But guess what? That's the truth. That's why our founding fathers set up our country the way they did, because they know you can't, because people will become corrupted.
Well, the bottom line is what they're trying to do is for everyone to pay into this pool, and then you have this pool of money that you can give. And then the other issue that's out there
and just
these entire. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to interject. That is exactly right, and that part makes sense to me. But the part of it that is the reality is that we're not a perfect world, and you have people who will say, "Hey, I want a piece of that."
Well, here's the issue. The true issue is the compromises that went across, and I think they really went unnoticed by the mass public because nobody really understood it. So when you look at Georgia and Florida, two areas that I'm pretty familiar with, I've been to almost every hospital in the state of Georgia in the last 18 months. I have visited them and talked to them. So the biggest issue they have right now is the reimbursement from Medicaid and Medicare, right? Florida's undergoing the exact same problem. Because they weren't part of any compromise because we are considered a Republican state, right? So we didn't get the Louisiana compromise or the Nebraska compromise. We had to pay a higher toll into the Medicare fund, into this state mandate, in order to get those funds back. So that's what all of these that's what all of our congressmen are up in the state of Florida right now deciding on whether or not they want to pay that, so that our hospitals can get a higher reimbursement for Medicaid and Medicare. And there are hospitals closing. In the state of Georgia in the last 12 months, 8 hospitals have shut down because they can no longer afford to operate. So I don't disagree with you about the whole greed factor, but this policy, the way it was passed, the way it was done in the wee hours of the night in the back room, it became a political issue, and it shouldn't have.
Well, yeah, I know that.
And then we should have been able to discuss, Robin, as you said, whether or not it should have been a mandate. We should have had that open dialogue as we were promised during the campaign. But that never happened, and so it was kind of crammed down our throats. And when anything is crammed down your throat, you're going to have people who are really for it and really against it. And guess what? Here we are. You're right. It's been 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, something like that. I don't know. Long time. And we're still discussing it because there are very few people on the planet who actually understand it.
Well, and for the average person who will never understand it, who simply wants to do his job, take care of his family, that's the person who a couple of years ago said, "Oh, $80, I can handle that," and then $120. Oh man, that's going to hurt.
Never 80. By the way, it was never 80.
It was 80. Yes, yeah. It was. Certainly was.
It was 80.
I guarantee you, it was 80.
Yeah. It was
Larry,
80.
Larry, let me explain. If you got you had to get a reimbursement to get to the 80. If I was to go on with my income, I would have never gotten the $80.
You wouldn't have.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. We're saying two different things.
No, we're not. We're saying the exact same thing.
In order to get the $80, you had to get a reimbursement from the government.
Right.
Correct. And that had to be paid for by someone.
Right. I know that. I know that.
That's my whole point.
It was a $250 subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
Add the 80, right. And then plus the $80 was the full cost of the insurance.
Right.
I know. So you misunderstood. When I said $80, I meant out of pocket for that person.
Right.
That person's out of pocket expense was $80. Galen, I know the guy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a specific guy. I chose not to name him.
Yes.
I believe you. I believe you on that. I just want to make sure that that's not what the true cost is.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, that's absolutely right.
Because we keep blurring that line. It's like, well,
all right, but your
insurance is only $80, and that's not true.
Okay,
because somebody else is having to pay that other $300.
No,
whatever.
Okay, but I guess we're not going to talk about Taco Bells, are we? But the thing is that, and I thought I made this clear, that $80 is what this guy was paying. He couldn't afford between $300 and $500 a month, so they gave him subsidies that brought it down to $80. Yes, the full payment the bulk of it was being paid by the taxpayer. Mm-hmm. Yes, or by the pool, as they put it.
Yeah.
But the point is, bottom line is, he didn't want to discuss politics. He didn't even care to understand it. He just said, I got to take care of my family. I can't afford health insurance. Now it's $80. Hey, I can do that. It's a little bit of a hardship for me.
Yeah.
But I can do it. 1 year later, it was $120.
Yep.
Absolutely.
120. Now, still, I understand that the bulk of it was being paid by the taxpayer, but out of pocket for him, it was 120. This article in today's news says it may go up to, $272. Oh, no, that's the subsidy. It may go up to $319 or $292. There's the bottom number.
Yes.
So $292.
Right.
So this guy who couldn't afford $300 in 2016 will be paying $292?
Yeah.
And the whole, from my understanding, and again, I'm just relying on what other people are telling me in this, and these are people I trust. The reality of it from the very beginning was to step up the payments for even those that were getting the subsidies, so that because you've heard it before, Obama and other politicians have said, look, this should cost you. How much do you spend on your cell phone bill? How much do you spend on your electric bill?
but
how much is your car payment? They believe it should be equal to that. It's supposed to be 33% of your income.
But you're not mandated to have a cell phone. You have this report that says, and this is where the discussion this morning. This discussion this morning was more about how the insurance companies are saying there's a huge pool of money. I want a bigger piece of it, and they're making a request. Did you hear this part, for a double-digit rate increase?
Yes. Absolutely.
That's the news this morning. That's not the government. That's the insurance companies.
Absolutely. Now, you have to remember that the Affordable Health Care Plan, the whole purpose was to lower the cost of health care, right? Because health care was rocketing out of control. And in a lot of regards, I think they were absolutely right. I think hospitals were getting a little fat. They needed to trim that fat. And they have. The problem is the people who engineered this law, and this is where we can get into whether or not they're greedy, for the insurances and the pharmacy companies. All right. So since the Affordable Health Care went into place, my personal health care insurance has nearly doubled.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's through where my wife works. Okay. I don't have to mention it. People can figure it out if they listen to the show.
Right.
And she has extremely good health care through a Fortune 500 company.
Well, we're actually making the same. We're actually making the same point. The only part that. Go ahead.
We have to get in there, and the politicians have to show some leadership and go after the insurance company the same way they did when they went after the insurance companies with hurricane coverage. Right? The same thing.
Okay, a good point. Galen, we have to wrap it up. We got an 8:20. But anyway, you're making some really good points. The only thing, just to clarify, just in case anybody else didn't understand, the $80 figure was the dollar amount out of pocket. I understood, and hopefully you did too, that was subsidized. Somebody like Galen doesn't get it subsidized, and therefore your money is out of the whole thing is out of your pocket. Right. All right, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today? We'll continue this tomorrow.
Bloodmobile is at Wedgwood Road.
Wedgwood Road. All right. Donate blood. The government may never be there for you, but you can be there for somebody else.
Hey, you know what? We're there for each other, there, Larry.
That's
Just
it.
Let me know,
Robin.
you let me know what I can do.
That's what giving blood is about. Thank you, Galen. This segment, by the way, is brought to you by Penn Flooring. Thank you, Galen. Penn Flooring provides quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Go visit their showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street over the McKay-Williams Bridge. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, clouds and some intervals of sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around into the evening hours. Today's high 86 to 90, and partly cloudy later tonight, low 70 to 74. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun, high 88 at the coast, 93 inland. Saturday, partly sunny. There may be a thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon, the high 88 at the coast, 94 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
very long, but I can't take outside.
Thank you.
All right, 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Our next guest is Aron Levine. He is the head of preferred banking at Merrill Edge at Bank of America. He's talking to us about the results of a new survey that shows the challenges that are faced when saving for retirement and some tips and strategies to help pursue a worry-free retirement. And he's on the phone. Aron, I hope I said your name right. If not, please forgive me and correct me. Good morning, Aron.
Good morning, Larry. No problem. It's Levine, but close enough.
Levine,
Thank
okay.
you.
I'm sure you get that all the time.
I do.
Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Atlanta this morning.
Oh, okay. All right. How's the weather? You got weather coming your way, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it's okay right now, but probably this afternoon we'll have another one of those fun storms that you guys and we all have in the southeast.
So we have a lot of people in this listening audience that probably are interested in this topic simply because we have a lot of either retirees or soon-to-be retirees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's really actually fascinating about the study is that while 2/3 of all sort of what we call mass affluent Americans are stressed about having enough money in retirement, the stress is actually higher in the younger generations who have more time. And what our study shows is actually 73% of those that are now retired are actually feeling like they're in pretty good shape, as opposed to a much higher percentage of Gen X and millennials are very concerned about having enough money down the road.
One of the topics that seems to be talked about is marrying your investments with some kind of an insurance plan. And I know you're not here to talk about insurance companies, but it's a big topic. Is there anything in the survey that reveals any anxiety about that?
The survey didn't dig into sort of specific actions or specific investment plans. It's really more talked about, what are things that folks can do and what have retirees done that's probably most important, which is having an overall plan. And those that are now in retirement or nearing retirement that have either worked with an advisor or have built themselves a plan, that's the most important thing. And then obviously the specifics of that plan are somewhat unique to each individual.
Wow. So when you did the survey, was it an online thing?
No, we sent out, there's a phone base with 1,000 participants across all the different age groups.
Oh, okay. And if I were to guess, or if you were to guess, you would be more knowledgeable about this. Would you have guessed right about many of the answers, or were you surprised by anything?
Well, I think there's really three things to point to that the survey points to, and also, as we talk to clients as to why people are feeling stressed. One is there's a lot of debt, right? People are dealing with, especially the Gen X and millennials, dealing with student debt, trying to pay down credit card, trying to pay down mortgage. Second one, and sure a lot of your listeners are dealing with this, which is especially if you're sort of that Gen X or slightly older, dealing with aging parents who are living longer, and then unfortunately maybe having kids coming back from college and not having a job yet.
Right.
So all of a sudden your retirement dollars are going towards those two groups. And then third, Larry, I think the one that we'd all probably guess would be the uncertainty around healthcare costs. 65% of respondents cited that as their number one fear. So where is healthcare costs going, both sort of short and longer term?
Yeah, and that one probably we all could have guessed. That was probably not a surprise, right?
Right, that one. And then, of course, 38% said that concerned about Social Security, right? So the second one you probably would guess would be, is Social Security going to be available, especially, 20, 25 years from now? So that uncertainty is really what causes a great deal of the stress on top of this other need to prioritize across a lot of different, expenses.
Right, and I'm guessing because we've been told all of our lives, do not depend on Social Security for your retirement, and yet some people do, as unreal as that is. But I'm guessing that the younger people, because of all this news every now and then about, well, not every now and then, almost every day, that Social Security may not be there when they get to be that age. I'm just guessing that that's a bigger part of their anxiety, their concern.
No question about it. I think that, again, it's both the fact that, Social Security, that rising healthcare costs that they are thinking about, and then again, the ability to get that, career going and start to really put money away into, 401k and different savings plans. It's very top of mind. And I think the good news here, Larry, is that the millennials, the youngest generation, is probably thinking a lot more about this at their age than I was and maybe other listeners were when they were in their mid-20s. I think the social media, the internet, the amount of time that, great programs like yours spends on this topic, it is causing them to at least try to take some action to alleviate that stress by beginning a savings plan and beginning to talk to someone about how to deal with it.
You know, right now, if you were to go to people who are currently retired and who have been retired for a long time, you will find some who are doing pretty well and others who aren't doing as well, and yet they may have had the same income during their working years. The crystal ball looking to the future, and I guess just to finish the first part, to know what they did differently doesn't do anybody any good because you can't do the same thing now. Now is a different time. So what does the crystal ball tell you? I mean, people who are retiring, let's say 40 years from now, who are doing well off, what do you think they will tell somebody like me what they did? What's their secret?
I think there actually is good news there, that there is something that that generation did and the current one did, and that's starting early. So saving even a very little bit early and letting that compound over a long period of time, that's the thing that we see very clearly the retirees did well. They began saving younger in life. They built themselves a plan. I think the other thing we see clearly in the study, retirees, 40% of them say they worked with an advisor, whereas only 25% of non-retirees are saying that. So I do think I think, having the plan, starting early, and seeking help, those are three things that are very consistent that we can tell someone to do today, same that the folks who have retired did, 20 years ago.
That's a good point. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Like I know that I don't know much about cars, so I go to a mechanic. But I don't know what I don't know about money, so I don't think about going to a financial expert.
Absolutely right, Larry. And I think that, in this day and age, what's great is, depending on how you want to get that information, there are many, millennials who say, I really just want to go online, and there's sites like MerrillEdge.com that they can get great tools and information. But then that next step, especially as they do start accumulating wealth, or someone who is closer to retirement and is really trying to decide what's the best thing to do for their money over the next 5 years, seeking professional help, the way you do a doctor, a mechanic, go to the gym and get a trainer. Because there's so many choices and there's so many trade-offs, having someone to help you think through your personal situation is very valuable.
So once you lock into an investment, are you sticking with that, or do the advisors like at Merrill Lynch, do they adjust your investments every 6 months or something like that?
Well, each person's unique, and I think each situation is. But I do think you do have to adjust over time, right? Because then it's all about how much time do you have for various priorities. If you're trying to save to buy a home, that's one sort of strategy of how you handle your money, as opposed to I've got 30 years till retirement, and as it goes from 30 years down to 5 years, you're absolutely going to want to adjust because you want to probably take less risk, right? You want to have more of your money working for you with maybe a slightly higher risk profile when you have more time, because you can afford to take some more risk. But as you get closer to that goal, you obviously want to adjust and say, let me make sure I protect my principal at all costs. So I think what a great advisor does is really, listen and really learn what a person's individual goals are, and then adjust and puts them on a plan that adjusts over time as market conditions change and as their own personal lives change.
Yeah, it makes sense. Wow, the time went fast. Can you give us a website so we can look this up and get some more information?
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Larry. So it's Merrill Edge, EDG, MerrillEdge.com. And there you can find, if you do /report, you can get all the information from the Merrill Edge report. But if you go to the MerrillEdge.com site, there's tremendous tools and information just about investing and savings and starting yourself off on a plan.
All right. For those driving who couldn't write that down, Robin already put that website on the guest list for today on WOCA.com. Thank you, Aron. Thank you for being on the air with us, and come back anytime.
Thanks so much, Larry. I really appreciate you having me on today.
Good stuff. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The search intensifies for two killers as Vermont joins the hunt for the men who escaped from an upstate New York prison. That community on edge.
The Saranac School District has decided to cancel classes today for the first time since the killers escaped over the weekend using power tools. It's an 8-mile stretch of roadway that they are researching, combing through once again. And on our drive from New York City, we went through multiple police checkpoints, law enforcement shining flashlights and searching our cars, popping trunks.
Fox's Anna Koyman outside the prison in Dannemora, New York. One person is dead, 8 others hurt in a shooting overnight at a Connecticut housing complex. And Carrie Underwood sweeps up 3 CMT Music Awards last night, including Best Video of the Year.
Country music has the best fans in the world, but I definitely have the best of the best of the best. So thank you guys so much.
At the CMT Music Video Awards in Nashville last night, Fox News, we report, you decide.
Fox News Early Prime, breaking down business news and its impact on your bottom line. Your World with Neil Cavuto.
That's how I do business. That's why I am business.
Bold positions and brash opinions on the topics America is buzzing about. The Five.
How do you think this will set